And a very good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and travelprofessionalnews.com, I want to welcome all of you to today's very exciting and informative webinar. Our host today is CCRA, and as always, we really appreciate their support. Our speaker is Maggie Fisher, Vice President, Marketing for CCRA. Growing up, Maggie Fisher was quite the creator with an endless imagination. It is Maggie's passion for creativity, from graphic design to strategic marketing, driving her as CCRA's Chief Marketing Officer while leading an ambitious culture and bringing award-winning campaigns to fruition. As CMO, Maggie is the driving force of CCRA's brand and global integrated marketing communications across company divisions, including the call center, global business development, hotel network, membership, and air. And Maggie, wow, you sound like you're really busy with all of those hats to wear. Maggie's topic today is a really useful one for all of us. It's a how-to workshop on powering your marketing plan with local events. Please remember that you're all muted, but we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions at any time in the question area you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. When Maggie's presentation is over, we'll take as many questions as we can. Also, at the end of the webinar, Maggie and CCRA will be giving away a free registration to CCRA's Travel Agent Forum in Miami to one lucky travel agent who has been here for the entire webinar. Stay tuned for more details about that giveaway as well. And just to remind you, this is a $150 value. So let's turn the microphone over to Maggie so she can get started. Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you. Thank you for that great introduction. I assure you my job is a whole lot more fun than what that sounded like. But we really are glad that you guys have joined us this afternoon. You might be wondering right off the bat why CCRA would have an interest in helping the travel agency community really strengthen their marketing plans, and why we would do a webinar that really has nothing to do with CCRA at all. But as the leader of CCRA's marketing division, I do get a lot of questions from our members and from agents that we meet at our different events wondering, are events something that could help me win new business and attract customers? And our answer to that is always yes. And we've had some fantastic conversations with agents who have had a lot of success doing a few things locally. Number one, really just establishing themselves within their local community as a travel expert. And then two, holding small events that not only strengthen their credibility, but give them a really powerful network to tap when their neighbors, their friends are looking for someone to help them travel. So what I want to go through today is really just a solid plan that will help you guys really think through how you want to theme an event, who you should invite, how to structure it, how to get people to show up, how to be prepared, and then after the event, how to really leverage what you've done to build out your book of business. And I'm hoping by the end, this will give you enough information and some really great guidelines and cheat sheets to kind of help you experiment and try a few events of your own and see if it doesn't help you really grow your business locally. So I'll give you a few disclaimers before we really jump into this. Number one being, I'm about 5 months pregnant, and there's a really good chance about 20 minutes in, I'm going to forget what we're talking about. So if that happens, just go ahead and let Sandy know that I'm off track. But on a more serious note, there are several tools that I'm going to go into throughout the presentation that are free, that you may want to actually check out either while we're talking or shortly after. And I'll provide you with those URLs so that if you are following along at home, we are going to actually build a live event together. You can try it on your own screen and kind of kick the tires a little bit. So with that, I think one of the most important things that we can really do before we decide what the event's going to look like, where we're going to have it, is to really decide what you're going to do in terms of promotional goals. So many of you, I'm sure, already have a website. I hope you have a social media presence, and you've got a really good sales pitch already. and you're growing your business. So some of this might be second nature to you already, but some of it may not occur to you as being critical for a successful event. So the first thing I would suggest is that you think about what kind of a discount or even a special gift you can offer to people to actually get up, get in their cars, leave their homes, and travel to a face-to-face in-person event. Some things I've seen that have worked really, really well is for agents that charge a service fee, perhaps just discounting a service fee or saying, you know, for this particular type of travel that we're going to be talking about tonight, we can offer you either a complimentary upgrade or something that's just going to make them feel special for having made the effort to attend your event. The other thing that I've seen work really well is to just get some promotional tchotchkes with your agency's brand, maybe some mugs, maybe something that they can walk away with or even pass out to their friends to help spread brand awareness in your area about you being a travel agency. Another few things that you're going to really need to think about is how to combine your social media presence, your email marketing capabilities, and your brand to kind of keep this all done very professionally. You really don't want to be in a position where you're setting up an event, people show up, and you don't have a business card, or you don't have a website, or really any way for these people to kind of check out that, okay, this person really is a serious travel seller and I can trust them with my business. So make sure you've got all those things lined up before we get into really promoting a real event. The next thing that I would suggest that you do is not to be discouraged if you've got a situation where you've got people declining your event. That's okay. It may be for a ton of different reasons, but really, everyone who has even taken the time to RSVP or respond is a potential new customer for you. So what you want to do is just make sure that you're recording that information and make sure that you keep them in your pool of potential customers. Just because they couldn't come to this event, they may be able to meet you at Starbucks or stop by to see you another time to talk about their travel plans. So as far as the event itself, once you've got all of that lined up and you feel really good about how you're going to get people to come out, what are you going to do once they get there? And this is the thing that I hear the most from agents is, I feel like I can get people out to my event, but then what do I do? I'm not an entertainer. I don't throw parties. I'm not good at getting up in front of a bunch of people and speaking. So a few things that, you know, I myself have passed on to some of our travel agent members is, number one, to really step up and talk about why travel agents are important again. Some of the people you may be reaching out to are, you know, really, you know, not even aware that travel agents are still out there, still a powerful force in travel, and aren't expensive to use. I'm sure you know as well as I do, there are still a lot of misconceptions about how travel agents get paid, what their role is in the industry. So that might be the first thing that you really want to do, is teach them, here's how a travel agency works today, here are the benefits of using one, and here's how I, as your host tonight, can make myself available to you as your go-to expert. So you're really kind of teaching them something and saying, hey, you can trust me, I'll be your travel expert moving forward, and that way you've got kind of instant credibility and you're showing that you really know how the industry works. The next thing I would really suggest is, once you've got their attention and they know who you are, the next question they're going to have is, okay, well, what do you want me to do? I would have at least one really good either sample itinerary or group that you're ready to book that night. So if you're there just to talk about travel in general and who you are, that's fantastic. The kind of dummy event we're going to build together is me and my travel agency, and I happen to specialize in Ireland. So I would be attracting people who are interested in traveling to Ireland and Europe. So what I would do, have a few sample itineraries, have something they can book, or just have something that they can take action on right away, so that you're really qualifying some of these people to be potential business for you. You don't want to send them on their way just saying, okay, great, now I know a travel agent. That's helpful, but you also want people leaving saying, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to book this trip, or I cannot wait to go on this cruise. And then the last thing I would suggest to really get these people who have taken the time to show up to your event excited is say, listen, if you're excited about using me as your travel agent and you refer business to me, I'm going to give you either a percentage off of your travel or some kind of a rebate or some incentive just to help your customers be the marketing machine for you. I've found that a lot of travel agents that come to us and are looking for advice on how to build a website or how to do some other component of their marketing say, I don't have time because I get so much referral business, I can't even think about marketing or advertising. And that's a great place to be. But I think it's important to make sure that you build that system so your customers become advocates for your business. So that's kind of your goals for some potential things you can do once you're at your event. Now, follow-ups. This is where a lot of these relationships get made or get broken. So we kind of discussed offering a discount, but what about how are you going to record who came, reward them for that, and make sure that you're staying engaged with them throughout the year? Even if you only have time to do one of these events over the course of a year, that could be enough to really, really bolster your marketing plan and keep leads coming in. So I would recommend that immediately, once you start marketing your event, make sure you've got a really great way to manage who it is that's responding. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes a couple of really great free tools that you can use to do this, but this has got to be part of your event planning and your event management so that your leads don't kind of grow cold. So I would record who comes, who's not able to come, and really everybody who just engages in one way or another. And another thing that I have found has been really, really successful for a lot of agents that we work with is to create a Facebook group after the event. More than likely, the people who you invite, they're going to network with one another. They may know each other from the community already, but setting up a Facebook group where these people can invite others and really theming it as maybe your neighborhood travel club or just a customer group is a great way for you, number one, to have a direct conduit to communicate what you're selling to people who you know love to travel and already know you. And it takes 30 seconds to push out a message or push out an offer without having to go through the email marketing channel or anything else. So it's a great way to cultivate your own little community that is totally loyal to you. And again, we'll go over exactly how to do that in just a few minutes. So getting into the tools that I'm going to be showing you, Eventbrite is what CCRA actually uses to promote and manage all of our events. CCRA does, oh my goodness, probably 50 to 60 events per year, not even counting all of the events that all of our chapter directors use all over the world. So our Eventbrite account is probably one of the biggest ones that there is, and it's free. So you can really put together something powerful, professional, polished, and it costs you nothing. The only way that Eventbrite makes money is if you hold an event where you're charging fees to attend your meeting, and you may decide that that's something that you want to do. But just like PayPal and a lot of other online tools, they make their money by taking a small percentage of what you're charging for a ticket. So if you decide that you really want to do this up and have, an open bar or something really cool like that, you might decide that charging for your event is the way to go. And you can still do that without having to pay up front or pay for the service on an ongoing basis. So for those of you at home that are going to follow along, we're going to be jumping into Eventbrite in a few minutes. If you want to head to eventbrite.com, and it takes just a first name, a last name, and an email address to sign up. It has really, really easy integration with Facebook and an email program that we use called MailChimp. It's also got lots of customizable forms so that you can ask your attendees questions before they even finish registering for the event. So you may want to ask, have you ever been on a cruise before? Or Have you ever booked with a travel agent before? So that you can get a much better idea ahead of time who you're going to be meeting on the night of your event. It's got a super easy to use drag and drop interface, so you can build a really nice looking page without a design or marketing degree. So we'll get into how easy that one is, but keep that handy because we'll be coming back to it. If you've never heard of Facebook, I'll probably need to have a discussion with you after this webinar, but you know, it's kind of a touchy subject as to whether or not you want to use your personal Facebook page to help manage your travel business. And I know Margie Jordan, our head of membership, you know, she's also kind of a pretty well-known industry social media guru, and this might be the #1 question that we get is, I want to use Facebook for marketing. I don't want people seeing my personal Facebook page. So you can always go ahead and create a company page so that you can keep those two worlds separate. Or if you're fine, you say, hey, you know, I don't mind using my personal account, you can do that too. I would just say, you know, go with your gut on that, whatever feels right for you and for your business. There's really no wrong way to do it. You can tack on Instagram, but I find it to be a lot less effective than just working directly in Facebook, unless you're the type of person that, you know, spends a lot of time on social media and you feel like you can keep both of them really well fed with content all the time. Because the last thing you want to do is kind of start an account, only load a few pictures a month, and then when people come to check you out, they're like, well, this doesn't look like a very active travel agency. So really, you know, start with Facebook, and if you feel like you have more time to devote to it, then add on Instagram. Pinterest, Twitter, and LinkedIn are all great for different reasons, but not something I would recommend as part of this discussion for promoting events. LinkedIn is going to be very corporate. Twitter, you could just push out your invitation link. Pinterest, you know, I don't know that you're going to get people that have that much of an intent to travel. At least that's what we found, but you can always give it a shot. So those are really the main tools. At the very end, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about MailChimp as well. This is another really powerful free communication tool that once you get a couple of steps beyond your event itself, you're going to want something other than Eventbrite to help you manage all of your email addresses and start to kind of set up the way you communicate based on what you know about your customers. So MailChimp lets you do some really interesting things as far as setting up who has a birthday, almost like a CRM system. It'll help you shape your communications so they're a lot more relevant to your customers. So if you already have a CRM system, you may be doing this now. If you use your CRM system just predominantly to manage transactional parts of your business, totally fine. MailChimp is really more focused on your communications. So it's a great tool to use if you're really going to spend the time to record information about your travelers and use that to kind of develop different types of emails. It's very sophisticated, and we could spend about 2 weeks talking about this, but for a free tool, it's got some very powerful features. So I would suggest, no matter what, sign up for it. They've got incredible tutorials that you can use to get up to speed. It's not intimidating, but it's something that you might find really handy once you have a really great event and you've got lots of new customers and you have a lot of data to juggle. Some other things, some of these are kind of what I call duh things that you're going to need, again, just to make sure that you've got every base covered. I hope that your agency has a logo and has branding that's going to really help people feel comfortable doing business with you, especially if they're looking at an OTA or doing it themselves as an alternative. You want to have just as much of a polished professional image. There are lots of free resources online that you can use to get inspiration for a logo. You can download templates. You can even hire someone to do a logo for you for like $5 or $10, which is crazy because I paid a lot of money for my graphic design degree and that doesn't make me happy, but it'll help you. So check out, there's a website I'll give you later called creativemarket.com. And that's a great place where you can download some tools to help you build out a logo. or find someone to help you do that. Business cards, same thing. Make sure you've got something polished, professional, up to date, that doesn't belong to someone else where you're scratching out someone's name and putting your name. Make sure it really speaks to how polished your agency is. And by all means, please pay attention to Google. Make sure that there's not a travel agency in your town with the same name as you. Make sure that there aren't people reviewing your agency without you even knowing. I always advise agents to keep your eye on Google. It's pretty easy to set up news alerts with your agency name. That way you know if people are out there are talking about your agency, you're notified. And it could be they have great things to say about you and you're missing an opportunity to pass that on to potential new customers. And then really just make sure you're reaching out to your suppliers and letting them know that, you know, you're looking to do more in-person, face-to-face engagements, and that you're going to need some collateral to do that. I've yet to meet a supplier who wasn't eager to send an agent as much as they needed collateral-wise to make sure that their products are being represented. After all, you're their primary sales channel. So make sure that, you know, as you're thinking through this, don't wait until the last minute to reach out to your best suppliers and say, hey, I'm going to have an event on this date. Please make sure you send me some kits. They may even send you promotional items. And we found a lot of agents whose BDMs are happy to come out and co-host and maybe even pick up the tab if you're going to serve any kind of refreshments. So don't be afraid to engage your suppliers early and often, because you'd be surprised what they're willing to do to really support you guys from a sales standpoint. Okay, so let's get to the good stuff and actually build this thing out. We're going to start with something really, really basic, and believe it or not, this is where a lot of agents stop and get frustrated or run into issues. And that's really gathering images so that you can promote your event. One thing that I really want to show all of you are some of the ways that you can leverage Google to do this. So there's kind of a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this. So again, pretending I'm running my fake Ireland travel agency, I'm going to go in and I'm going to look for some images of Ireland. And many people use Google all day long and don't even realize that there are some really cool tools that you can use within Google to make sure you're using the right images and that you're not accidentally using something that's copyrighted or protected, because that's one way you can actually get in a whole lot of trouble, is by using an image that you don't have the rights to. So the first thing that you can do when you search for images is come over here to the right, and you can see a little button here that says Tools. Once you click that, you've got a few options that pop up. And under Size, you can narrow your search results. And I always do larger than 4 megapixels or 2272 by 1704. This way you know whatever you pick is going to be large enough and it's not going to be pixelated, and you'll have a lot more flexibility to play with sizing without ruining the image. So I'm going to choose that. And you can see I still have a lot of really great images to choose from. You can kind of skip over here to probably the most important button on this whole screen, which is usage rights. Once you click that, you can select labeled for reuse. This is huge. So this is going to serve up all the photos that you can use without having to worry about someone tracking you down 2 years from now saying, hey, you used my image without my permission, pay up. And that happens every single day. So once you have that, you can come in and you can really grab the images that you think are going to be the most appealing for what you're trying to sell. All you have to do is click on the image itself, click View Image. Once you do that, you can either drag it to your desktop or just right-click it and save it into a folder of images that you can use in the future that you know are safe. So that's just a couple of minutes on, again, a great free resource to come in, grab some safe to use photos that'll really help you polish up your event invitations, your registration page, and your follow-ups. So we're going to jump out of Google, And then the next thing you're really going to have to watch is that you don't blow up the internet with giant pictures. And we have a network of fabulous chapter directors and lots of agents that utilize Eventbrite, and they do it really, really well. But the one thing that always catches them is if they try to upload an image that's way too large. And it's the one thing that will kind of stop them in their tracks and say, oh no, I can't go any farther, something's wrong. So I always recommend that you come to this really great free website. It's called PIC Resize, RESIZE.com. And what this is going to do is allow you to just upload an image for free. We'll do that now. So I'm going to upload one that I have saved on my computer that I know would take down pretty much any website if I tried to upload it. So let's go here. I'm going to choose that. And actually, this one's not that big. I hit continue. And here's my picture. So I know that I want to put this in my invitation. And really, you know, as a rule of thumb, I don't want to go any wider than 300 pixels wide because it'll be so wide, it will just make my invitation look strange. So right now, it looks like my original size is 1400 by 720. So I think what I'm going to try and do is make this about 75% smaller. If you need an image that's an exact size, which we can play with now, you go to the bottom, and I'm just going to say I need it to be 300 pixels wide. I'm going to leave the height alone. I'm going to come down a little ways, and there's some really cool special effects you can choose. I love to use the Polaroid effect just because it looks really neat, especially for travel-related invitations or marketing. But you can do oil paint, rounded corners, all kinds of really cool stuff. And you can definitely come in and play with this. I want the final output to be a JPEG. Now, JPEG quality, this is really gonna mess with your image size. Better's good, I would stick with best. And then I'm not gonna mess with the file size, but I'll hit I'm done, resize my picture. And that's it. So they've resized my picture. Now, because this is a free site, you have to be on the lookout for these ads that kind of trick you into utilizing their service. So this thing that says start download, just ignore that. That's an ad. Come right over here to save to disk. And it goes right into your downloads file. So now I've got my image, and you can just see a little preview of it here because I kept it kind of small. But it's really neat. It just looks like a folded Polaroid picture that I can then bring into my event promotion. So once you're able to do that, you've gathered your pictures, you've formatted them so that you've got some good sizes to work with. The next thing that we can do is go into Eventbrite. So if you go to eventbrite.com, this is what you're going to see. Now, I'm already signed in, so I've got Maggie up here in the corner. You're going to see something that just says sign up, put in your first name, your last name, your email address, and then you'll be right here at the spot that I'm at. So the first thing you're going to do is come over to the right to create event. So I'm going to name my event European Travel Night. I wouldn't recommend you do this, but I'm going to have this at my house in beautiful, sweltering Orlando, Florida. And yes, that's my real address if you want to send fan mail or feedback about this webinar. Looks like I'm going to be having it, and obviously you can set this date however you like, but we'll just go with October 3rd from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Now, this might be for later, but if you decide you want to do this once a month or even once a week, you could come in here and you could schedule this so that it recurs, just like in Outlook or other programs where you want to have the same event over and over. This will let you do that, but we're not going to go into that right now. The next thing I'm going to do, and this is probably the most important piece of this because this is your event image. Eventbrite uses this as kind of the whole top of your invitation, and it needs to be a big, clear, crisp image, because if it's something pixelated, that right off the bat is going to make you very unhappy with the way this is going to turn out. So make sure that you choose something that's at least 2160 pixels wide. When you get a copy of my presentation, I have all of these sizes written out for you guys, so you have it as like a cheat sheet, so don't feel like you have to write this down right now. But it's just really, really important that you choose something from Google or from wherever that is at least that wide. So I'm going to click here, and I've already got my images kind of picked out. So let's go with, now I can see that one's only 800, 1400, here we go, 2160 by 1080, perfect. So this is where the magic happens, and it uploads my image. It'll give me a chance to crop it, but I've already sized it to the exact right size, so I don't really need to play with this. So I'll click done. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to write my description. So I'm going to keep this very simple and just say, please, if I could spell please, join me for a night of travel, inspiration, and information that will get you traveling all over Europe. And you're obviously going to want to be a little more descriptive than this, but for now, I think we're okay. And what you can do is you can come in and you can make this bold, and you can make it a heading so it's nice and large, but they keep the controls fairly simple so you can't overdo it and burn down your events page. So I'll come down here and I'll add a few things that are going to be very important. Number one, I will be offering discounted travel and or extra amenities just for my new clients. I might say light refreshments will be served. And of course, please RSVP by September 20th. Now you'll see that once the event gets created, you're going to have invitation tools at your disposal also that will help you manage those RSVPs. So I usually tell agents not to put their phone number in here unless you really want to, or any other instructions, because they're going to be very apparent once they go ahead and complete their registration. So it would be just kind of a repeat. So I think you can kind of leave it at that. What I'm going to do now is just add a couple of inspirational photos. So you just click on the little photo button. I'll go to Browse. And I've actually already uploaded a few images, but from here you can upload any images you want from your computer. So I'm going to put in just a nice image of Ireland here and kind of leave it at that. You can add FAQs to your page, and some of these won't really apply, but if there's an age minimum, maybe you're going to do a night about adults only, all-inclusives or something like that, in which case I would definitely recommend you set an age requirement. You might want to comment on parking, if they need to bring anything, how can they contact you, if you're going to be charging, what's the refund policy. And then you can add your own questions if there are things that you feel like you really need people to know before they decide whether or not they're going to come to your event. So that's where you would add your FAQs. Your organizer description, this is where you just really introduce yourself and talk about who you are and what you do. I just wrote a little goofy thing about me being their neighborhood travel agent. I would not recommend linking this to Facebook and Twitter on your first go around. It's so easy to share your registration link without doing that. I would recommend you do it manually. But once you come down here, this is where you create your tickets. So what you want to do is just click free ticket, and I'll say European Travel Night. I want to limit this to about 25 people. So after you reach 25, anybody that attempts to register will be put on a wait list and you'll be notified. It's free to attend. If you do want to, get fancy and charge for it, it's the same process where you'll just set a price. Or if you want them to make a donation maybe to Tourism Cares or something of your choice, it's very easy to do that as well. But for now, we'll keep it simple and just stick with a free ticket. Now, this is a big option as well. If you choose public page, this event will show up in a Google search. There are lots of event aggregators out there that will pick this up and add it to their lists of events. So if someone goes in and searches travel events near me, you'd be surprised how many places this event will show up. So if you're going to try and keep this a small gathering of people I wouldn't list it publicly. If you really want to maximize visibility and use this to get a lot of people, then go ahead and make it public. Just keep in mind, if you make it a private page, you'll have to send this link to anyone if you want to share it on social media. It makes it a little more difficult. But as long as you keep your quantity available down, if you list it publicly, you might get overwhelmed with questions, but I don't think you'll be overwhelmed with registrations. So that's one decision that you'll have to make. Then you're going to want to choose your event type. For this, I would say meeting. Your topic obviously is travel and outdoor. And then your subtopic, I would keep it to travel unless you specialize in something that pertains to these other activities. And that's it. So you hit save. I personally would review everything one more time. And then you can come over to manage. And you've got a whole list of items on the left-hand side here that you'll be able to use. There's lots to go through, but for now, I just want to show you the order form, because this is where you come in and you want to give instructions for your attendees, either about parking or maybe if you're in a neighborhood that has a gate, any of that kind of stuff you're going to want to put here. You may want to put message to display after ticket sales end. So you may want to say something like, even though my event is currently sold out, please contact me here to know about the next event. And that's really it. Just make sure that you've got enough information here so you're getting more people asking relevant questions than where do I park or how do I get in there, that kind of stuff. So that's really it for that. Once you save that, that'll be part of the registration process. When you come back up to the top here, you can just say make event live. Again, I would skip this unless you're really well versed in how Facebook works. Again, it's super easy just to use your registration link on its own. But this is now going to become your event dashboard. So you can see how many people have RSVP'd. You can even see how many people have viewed your event page. So if you're getting lots and lots of views and not a lot of registrations, you might want to jazz up the description or add something to entice people to attend. But you've got lots of great information here to explore. But most importantly, at the very bottom, this is your event URL. This is what you want to copy and paste. I'm going to hit copy, and I'm actually going to use CCRA's Facebook page as a guinea pig for a second. And you just paste it right into Facebook. Hit publish. and you've already got a little description, and you might be able to kind of write your post and everything to get this out to your social network. I'm going to go ahead and delete this so we don't get. So like I said, I wouldn't worry too much about all the Facebook integration that's in Eventbrite now. I would just use this link to promote it. You can use this to invite people via email, via Facebook Messenger, whatever you want to do, this link will help you do it. For another time, but something to definitely explore if you're going to jump into this, is go ahead into Eventbrite and also look at invitations. There's lots of ways you can customize invitations that are just as easy as what I showed you to build the event. So you can come in and look at that. It builds one for you, but all you really have to do here is enter who you want this to go to, set your subject line, lots of great ways to kind of blast this out everywhere. You can add guests by an Excel spreadsheet. You can enter them manually. You can set this up to go out at a certain time. So there's lots of really fantastic ways you can use this. And again, it's free. So there's definitely an immediate ROI to spend some time in here, take a look around, and really leverage this stuff to help you guys bring more business into your small events, build out your book of business, and really strengthen your relationships so that you've got them to lean on when you're looking to promote yourself. So that's really everything I wanted to show you today. Unfortunately, we probably don't have enough time to go into MailChimp, but maybe we'll do that on another webinar. But again, this is a great way to come in, explore, promote your events, and really just kind of grow your marketing skills for your agency. So with that, I think we have a couple minutes for questions. One thing I did want to do to thank everybody for attending is to give out a special code if you want more education like this. We do it very often through CCRA. If you're interested in joining us as a member, we are giving a discount off of our normal $300 annual fee. At checkout, if you enter the word images, IMAGES, you'll get a really big discount. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It'll make more sense after our trivia question. And for our agents that are already part of us that we love, if you want to renew with us at a special discount, your code is images renewal. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Sandy for questions.
Okay, great. And did you want to run the poll to see how people are feeling about all this?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to ask a question, and it'll give Maggie a good idea of how you are receiving the information. So let's see.
Just no cursing, please.
So the question is, what do you think so far? And you can select one of the following. I can do this. I'm not sure about this, or forget it. This is way too hard. So go ahead and vote, and we'll see what everybody thinks. I can tell you, Maggie, the answers are pouring in.
Oh, good. I'll quickly add to anything in particular that you really want to check in with us or check in with me personally on. My email address is on the presentation. It's maggie.fischer, Fischer, @ccra.com. If you wake up in the middle of the night and can't remember something, or you've got a great idea you want to check out and bounce it off us, we're always happy to do that. So please feel free to reach out if you need to.
Okay, great. And do you have a slide with your contact information on it that you can put back up there?
Absolutely. These are your cheat sheets that are in the presentation with your URLs and your image sizes. And this is my contact information. Again, it's just maggie.fischer@ccra.com, and it's Fisher with a C.
Okay, and we'll be able to see that once we close down the poll. So let's go ahead and close down the poll and see how everybody voted. Wow.
Yay!
That is fantastic. Well, it looks like everyone was listening closely and can make good use of all this wonderful information, Maggie. So let's go ahead and go back to your slides. There we go, and there's Maggie's beautiful picture and her title and her email. So we do have several questions. We're going to get to as many questions as we can. And just a reminder, if we don't get to your question, or if you think of something after the webinar is over, Maggie has invited you to go ahead and contact her, and she will be happy to help or point you in the right direction. So
Absolutely.
let's ask some of the questions. Maggie, what is your feeling about piggybacking onto somebody else's event, and what kinds of things should you watch for if you're going to do that?
I mean, depending on whether or not you're looking at a supplier event or a trade show or another agent's event, I think as long as this is a brand or a person that you know and trust, I would say go for it. But keep in mind, whoever it is you're going to be associating with or presenting alongside, they're going to be associated with your brand forever. So make sure it's someone that you really trust and someone that you feel represents the kind of clients that you want to get.
Okay, great advice. What's the reason for linking to Facebook manually?
There are some things that you're probably going to want to control. I know for me, I like to put my own small blurb on any Facebook that I post that basically says, hey guys, just FYI, I'm having this event, would love to see you there. Rather than just relying on kind of that straight pass through from Eventbrite that just says basically, here's an event, I like to just put a personal note on it. But depending on your style and how you write, you might be perfectly comfortable with doing that direct integration. I just like kind of that little fail safe in the middle where I'm editing exactly how it's presented.
Okay, and if you are putting it on Facebook manually, can you change the font of the link that you click on to get to Eventbrite?
You can't usually change the font at all in Facebook. You're kind of at their mercy. So unfortunately, depending on how you do it, when you put the link in, a picture will pop up and a description, but no, there's not really a good way to have Facebook edit their font, unfortunately.
Okay, if you're doing an event and your BDM has agreed to do it with you, are there any general guidelines about how long each of you should talk, who should do the majority of the presentation?
Sure. I know with our chapter directors, when they do this, they're often, using a supplier as their co-pilot. It's really important that you get up there first and you introduce yourself, your business, your goals, and then you introduce that supplier as your guest. What you don't want to do is kind of give the impression that this event belongs to the supplier, and you don't want them walking away thinking, oh, I can't wait to do business with Scenic. Even though they're great, this is your event and your brand, so just make sure you keep that perception that this is your business, you've brought your BDM guest in to speak on your behalf, but make sure it's your brand that's top of mind.
Okay, great advice. Everything that you've talked about today, the different websites, Pick, Resize, and Eventbrite, one of our agents wants to know, did you say they're all free?
They are all free.
Well, that's a good price.
Yes.
Let's see. Can Eventbrite invitations be tailored to a specific private group?
Absolutely. When you're in Eventbrite, when you check out the event invitations area, you're basically in charge of uploading the list that you want the event invitation to go to. So whatever that list is made up of, you should have a collection of names, email addresses. It'll ask you to upload it. So you're in total control over who's going to receive that invitation.
Okay, excellent. We've had several people ask about the recording for this webinar. If you all check out the chat area in the lower right-hand corner of your dashboard, you'll see that this recording will be posted in 3 different places. TravelProfessionalNews.com, our travel professional community in the videos area, and on Tom Ogg's YouTube channel. And Maggie, it sure is good news that so many people want to view the recording. Let's ask one more question. And again, if we didn't get to your question, or if you think of something after the webinar is over, do get in touch with Maggie, and she and her team will be happy to help you. How do you cancel an event if there is not enough subscription to the event, not enough people sign up?
I hope this never happens, but should you have to cancel for any reason or you just don't feel like you have the attendance, back on that Manage tab, there is actually a button that says Cancel Event. Now, one thing I will tell you is it gives you the opportunity to go in and cancel tickets. So it gives you a way to explain to whoever has RSVP'd and who intends on coming, hey, we have to cancel for this reason. You don't just, they won't get just like a blanket, you know, the wedding's off. You'll be able to actually write something for them. So you'll see you'll have a few options, but there is a button that will allow you to start the process of canceling an event.
Okay, excellent. We did have many more questions. So again, Maggie is very happy to help you out if you get in touch with her. And Maggie, I think you should brace yourself for a lot of people asking
I have
questions.
a whole team that I know is themselves right now.
Okay, that's great. So let's talk about the prize giveaway. And again, Maggie's going to be asking a question about something that she discussed during this webinar. And the third correct answer I see come across my screen will be the winner. And the prize is a free registration to CCRA's Travel Agent Forum in Miami. Maggie, can you tell us a little bit about that Travel Agent Forum?
Sure. If you've never been, it's really the largest gathering of both independent and hosted travel agents really in the country right now. And, you know, we work with Travel Show Marketing Group to do it twice a year. We do it in the fall in Miami and in the spring in Las Vegas. And the Miami event coming up in October is going to be very different. We're going to have a lot of really great new panels, one of them being a live version of this presentation with a lot of industry events experts on hand, a whole panel just about this that I think is going to be even better. And you can see me try and get into a business suit at, I think I'll be 8 months pregnant at that point. But it's really going to be an incredible show. So I would take advantage if you're able to get to Miami.
Well, I would sign up just for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, the third correct answer I see on my screen will be the winner of this registration. It's just the registration. You'll have to get yourselves to Miami and reserve your hotel on your own, but the registration is $150 value and it's to a fantastic event. So Maggie, if you want to go ahead and ask your question, I will let you know when we have the third correct answer.
Sure. For those paying attention at home, when I spoke about the image sizes and how not to blow up the internet with their images, there was a specific setting, the DPI or the dots per inch, that you need to make sure your images are always at. So we're looking for that setting. It's a number, 2 digits, and it's really the screen resolution of any graphic or photo that goes on the internet.
Okay, we have answers coming in. Again, it's 2 digits. Okay, I think we have an answer. I mean, a winner. The correct answer is 72 DPI, and our winner is Eva Grodberg. Eva Grodberg. So congratulations. Sorry?
So with that out of the bag, the discount on CCRA membership, if you choose to take advantage, is $72. So if you want to get a $300 CCRA membership, you can get it for $216 for the next 72 hours if you use Images, IMAGES, at checkout, and then you'll get your fill of all kinds of great training and webinars and great stuff just like this.
Fantastic. It's a wonderful promotion. And Maggie, this has been a fantastic presentation. Our host today has been CCRA, and our wonderful speaker has been Maggie Fisher, Vice President Marketing for CCRA. Maggie, thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
And I'll add my thanks to all the agents who attended. We appreciate your taking time out of your day to attend this webinar. And to our winner, Eva Grodberg, we will be passing your information along to Maggie, and she will be in touch with you about getting that free registration. So thanks again for attending, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everybody.